Feel the natural sweet taste of malt, a non-alcoholic beverage with a biotin. So refreshing, nourishing, full of natural goodness and offer multiple health benefits with a sweet taste good for all age groups. For more information and inquiries, you can contact us on 0244 148429 or 0246 114699. Eromalt. Experience the real taste of malt. This advert is vetted and approved by the FDA.
On top of quality design and printing, look no further than Extra Link Services. Having been in the industry for some time, we are committed to be the top-notch brand in the printing and graphic design industry.
Our services include t-shirt printing, masks, books, ID cards, magazines, etc. We also undertake letterheads, invoices, receipt books, newsletter, and more.
Locate Extra Link Services at Medina, near Hannah School, and also contact us on 0303 968 6.
Okay, it's a beautiful Friday evening and welcome to EBN Sports Chat. My name is Christian Mensah. We are coming to you live from our studios, number 15 near Odwin Lake, East Legon. It's a beautiful Friday, the 3rd of the month of July 2020, the day that the Lord has made for you and I to rejoice and be glad in it. Today we have a lot to talk about. And today we take a look at women football, what is happening in women football. A lot of stuff is happening in women football. There is some joy, there's some happiness, there is some smile on the faces of players concerning women football. They have struggled, they have been through all, and now it's time for them to smile. What is the smile all about? We'll get to know, but remember this program is proudly brought to you by Meraki IT College, one of the best IT school in the country right now. In case you want to learn encoding, decoding, anything you want to learn in the fashion world or in the IT world, is Meraki IT College. Also holding us down is Fashion the Africa. And they say for all your classy long sleeve, short sleeve, kaftan, and the perfect complement for any occasion, Fashion the Africa will be the people to get you look smart and be stylish. Yes, they are located inside Nungwa, Boadi, opposite the Rosenberg School. Yes, just behind the Jehovah's Witness building. That is where they are located. And they have styled me to look as dope as I'm looking today on your screens, making sure that they always brand me to their satisfaction. And also, yes, don't forget, we are not in normal times. As you can see on my table right now, it's your Happy Man sanitizer is on the market right now. It's very affordable. And your Happy Man's nose mask is also there. Make sure you grab yours on the market for wholesale and retailing. I will be giving you the numbers that you can call for them to do business with them. Trust me, you need to protect yourself, protect that of your family and many other people. We go on a quick commercial break. When we come back, we have our guest in the studio, and it's a she has seen it all, and she's the one fighting for women football to have that recognition it's supposed to have. We're going to short commercial break. When we come back, I will introduce my guest and we will set the ball rolling. This is EBN Sports Chat.
On top of quality design and printing, look no further than Extra Link Services. Having been in the industry for some time, we are committed to be the top-notch brand in the printing and graphic design industry.
Our services include t-shirt printing, masks, books, ID cards, magazines, etc. We also undertake letterheads, invoices, receipt books, newsletter, and more.
Locate Extra Link Services at Medina, near Hannah School, and also contact us on 0303 968 605 or 0247 404 911. Extra Link, working together in humility.
Okay, so welcome back on the short break there. Now we're still live. This is EBN Sports Chat. Today, we're diving into a very sensitive sport and discipline that has been struggling to make recognitions in the country. And there is a woman, I will call her the lioness because she's been fighting for women in sport. And today we're taking a look at women football in Ghana. Before COVID-19 came, women football was progressing. The league was exciting, especially when you go to the Latam Park, you see the likes of police ladies clashing with immigrations, Halifax ladies. It was so exciting until COVID-19 came. But the question that we ask is, women football, has it gotten the recognition that it's supposed to get? And has the GFA been fair to the women football committee and the league itself? How are the players referring during the lockdown? Who is being monitored? Are they in good shape? And life after COVID-19 with women football. And now there is African Women Champions League that has been introduced. How is Mother Ghana gearing up towards such a tournament? What will be the qualification process, and what and how are we going to manage such a huge tax that has been brought upon us? To help me do the discussion today about women football, she's no other person than the strongest woman in women football, Madam Hilary Boateng. Good evening.
Good evening, Christian. Thanks for this opportunity. Nice studio.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
How's your week been?
It's been very busy. Very busy. So you know, I have my full-time job as HR for Springfield, and obviously my appointment as chairperson. So this week in particular, with the news in women's football just back to back, you can imagine the interviews, you know, and the engagements that have come with it, as well as work. So it's been a very, very busy week for me.
Wow.
But you can't complain, can
How
you?
do you? No, we can. How do you combine professional work and football?
Good question. I think that so far so good. It hasn't really clashed, because when we were having the season, we had matches during the weekends, and so I had the chance over the weekends to go watch matches and also have interviews either after work or after the matches, which would not conflict with my work. So now with the pandemic, we are working from home most of the time, but obviously still work is going on. There are times I still go to the office because of the nature of my job. So yes, you just have to find a way to balance it. You know, and
you just have to find a way to balance it. Now let's go straight into the discussion. Women football. How has it been, or how is it doing?
I think that now the league has been cancelled, but I would say that the season, the just ended, now I can say the just ended season, even though we did not complete it, unfortunately, was a very good one. Was pretty exciting. I must say, I don't know if you had an opportunity. I didn't see you in any of our matches.
I've been through other centers.
Okay, good, Christian. So for both the northern and the southern zone, I think that the competition was really keen, and I think the stakes were upped as well, because we had the likes of NASCO, and I think that I should use this opportunity to say a big thank you to them, Electroland, for stepping up to at least support the player of the match, which went a long way to up the stakes, because then you could see on the field of play that each of the girls wanted to win. an award home. Remember, the player of the match would go home with a mobile phone, and then a hair dryer. It was both actually. And for me, for a woman, everyone wants a phone. Everyone needs a hair dryer for something, so that alone, this is where the conversation around sponsorship comes, and how good it is when the girls realize that the sponsorship, because then they know that there's something at stake for them, and that really helped. So I think we need to say a big thank you to Electroland for that. So it was a very, very good season, even at the bottom, and the relegation battle was also ongoing. So we were all looking forward to the second round, which would have started I think the first week in April. Unfortunately, at that time, we were in the lockdown because of the pandemic, so that was not possible. And here we are today. So definitely exciting 2019-2020 season that we had. Unfortunately, we did not get a winner, but I think that what we saw both on the field of play and the fact that we started to stream the matches live, and again, kudos to the FA for purchasing the camera that started streaming matches for the Southern Zone. As I speak, I know there's also a camera for the Northern Zone that they would begin to stream hopefully for next season now, because the league has been cancelled. So I'm expecting that for next season we would have 2 matches streamed for the Northern Zone every weekend for those who cannot go to the stadium to watch it live, and then the same too for the Southern Zone. That also helps create awareness for the women's game. Okay,
for the women's game, like you said, now, before, what has been that spark, the magic? But when you look at it, the 90 era down to the normalization era before you guys took over, what has been the transition, or what has been the process in getting women's football to this far?
I think women's football, the Women's Premier League started sometime in 2012, and it's grown. So I think that we cannot just sit here and say it is this committee that has made everything gel. There were committees that were before us, and they also did good jobs to bring it to where it is now. So they all deserve commendation for where it is. Madam Liana Ade, who was the last chairperson until the normalization took over, I think they all did a good job to at least project it. And so the job now is for us to continue from where the game was. From 2012 till now, at least we've seen projections, and we are hoping that it will still continue to go up from there. I think that some of the key things are what I've just mentioned with regards to the live streaming. Another area where I think we need to also highlight is the game centers that you mentioned. Again, kudos to Mr. Macaulay for giving his beautiful AstroTurf, the Magdan Town Park, to the Women's Premier League. At least the Greater Accra teams in the southern sector are now using the Magdan Park as their home turf. And so there were a lot of matches that were played there during the first round. And to be honest, it was very encouraging to see the crowd. I don't know if you had any opportunity. Exactly. And the crowd in itself was encouraging to see every weekend. And I watched almost all the matches in Magdan, for almost all of them. I also watched a match in the Tema Sports. That was when Halifax against Hazakes Ladies. I watched that game in Tema as well. And I would say that the crowd that you would see at Magdan, even to the extent that you see some standing, just to watch a women's game, I think it was impressive. And so again, I think that area, Labadi in itself, is an area where people love football, and the fact that the AstroTurf is situated there now is being given to the Women's Premier League is a way in which again people are beginning to realize that okay, the games are exciting, let's go watch. The good thing, at least for the first round, was that we were not also charging, so it was free. And I guess that was also why you would see, but I even believe that even if they decide to charge a token, it will not deter them now, because they've realized how competitive and exciting that the matches are. So, yeah.
Okay, now the women's football itself. Now, the league. Let's take a look at the teams. What are some of the criteria you placed in what are some of the criteria you used in giving the teams the slot to join the Premier League? And also there's Southern and the Northern zones.
Yeah.
Are we going to get to a point where it's going to be a whole national one league thing?
So good question. So I guess we have regional leagues.
Yeah.
So for the current Premier League, for example, with the two zones, if we had finished the second round, we would have had two teams relegated. So that would be the bottom team for Northern Zone and the bottom team for Southern Zone. So they would have gone into the regional division, and then the winners. It would have two winners from the regional division coming in, just like the Premier League for the men do. So we feed off the Premier League clubs come from the regional. That is why we also need to firm up the regional league as well. There are really good teams. You'll be amazed at some of the good teams in the Greater Accra, for example, regionally, very solid teams. There's the one of our committee members, Madam Cleopatra in Ketia. So she is a co-owner for Rich City. You should watch.
I heard about.
You should watch that team. Yes, you should. There's Ideal Ladies. There's the Armed Forces. There are very good teams in there that would definitely be good when they come into the Premier League as well. So it would be good if we can also begin to firm up the structure within the region. I've realized that the RFA is already putting that together, because I know they've put together a committee for the women's divisional league, which also has Cleo on there as their secretary. And so I think it's exciting times. This current FA have proven that they are interested in women's football based on what we've seen so far. So we are just hoping that the support that we are getting will continue from there. And to your second question about
are we going to have
the national, as in them coming together. So the conversation has been had, and we'll still have it. I think that one of the reasons why it is what it is now is financial. Again, you have teams in the Northern Zone. Even getting them to travel all the way to Accra would mean money. Okay, and we are talking about the Women's League, where funding for a long time had been a problem. And so how do you now tell a team like Pelpia from Tamale to come all the way to Magdan to play a Police Ladies, and then go back? That will mean a lot of money in terms of transportation. So we definitely, as we are having the conversations around sponsorship, I believe that it will get to that point where we would say, look, this is the time where, especially now with Champions League coming into Africa, these are some of the areas or some of the conversations that we need to have to bring the both zones together and say, let's play like the men. But we would need to put the foundations right before we get there.
Okay, now let's look at life during COVID-19 with women football. How has it been with most of the teams and all that in terms of finance?
Most of the women, the 16 clubs, fortunately have clubhouses. And so based on interactions with some of the managers, the club owners and the coaches, I realized that a lot of the clubs decided to retain or keep the girls in the clubhouses. Others had to be let go, because again, I spoke to one club owner yesterday who said at the point their parents were asking them to come home. So those ones, they would have to at a point allow them to go. But overall, most of the clubs kept the girls in the clubhouses, and you know what that means. That means catering for them, food-wise, water. The good thing though was at least the government gave some provisions for free water for 3 months during the lockdown period, and then they subsidized, gave a 50% slash on electricity. That helped, but in terms of food and other things, obviously that onus fell on the bankrolers during that period, that they had to maintain them. But the girls are keeping well. At least based on the information that I have from the coaches and the managers, I think the girls are doing well. Some have started training. There are videos that we get to see of some of them even going to the beach to train themselves, and some who, obviously with the era of social distancing now, they need to ensure that they are not crowded and training, because we haven't gotten the green lights from the government for football to begin. So those who can train within themselves are doing that for now. The coaches are giving out the right instructions for them to continue to maintain the fitness. So I'd say within the circumstances, financially it hasn't been easy, but the bank owners, the bank rulers, they're doing at least the best they can, and that is why this news that we got yesterday, for example, couldn't have come at a much better time, from the YEA. I think it's excellent news for the clubs, just to at least help the bank rulers, because they do so much. Some of them actually pay for school fees for these girls. They take care of them right from infancy, or right from a very young age, to a point where maybe they decide that, okay, now I'm ready to play full-time football. And so it's good that the government, through the FA, have decided that the Premier League club should be the beneficiary.
If hadn't been for the intervention yesterday, how would the girls have been paid?
Good question. So I think that
during the lockdown period.
So it is what it is at the moment. Like I was saying, for the clubs, the owners are doing the best they can. And so you realize that they give out the girls, they give money.
Their salary or something, just a token?
Something, just a token. Apart from, so remember we have clubs that are associated with the security.
Yeah, security, that is police, immigration.
Exactly. The players that play for those clubs at least get paid because they're given employment.
Yeah.
Even with that, I don't think it's all the players.
Oh, okay.
So that is why this package again will really help the girls. It will help the clubs at least pay the girls for, even though it's for 6 months. We are hoping that beggar with a choice after the 6 months.
Now I want to come to that particular thing, because yesterday, after following the news itself, I had a problem with it myself.
Okay.
And I was told that 30 players each are going to be paid.
Yes.
Now we all know that one club may have more than 30 players.
Absolutely.
What happens to the rest of them?
So it goes back to for example, the security.
Let's take a team like Halifax.
So Halifax, so it won't be the decision, obviously, of the committee to say pay Christian and pay Hillary.
Okay.
We are going to ask the clubs. And remember, in the FA, we have a list of all the registered
players. Okay.
So we are going to have that. We need to make sure that it is fair and structured.
Yeah.
So we'll have a look at what the registered players for each of the teams, and then we'll see the list that would also come from the clubs, and based on that we can determine that this is a fair representation. And out of the 30, you would also want to expect that at least the players that dedicated themselves to Halifax over the past season or even the previous seasons are included. At least 22 names you would expect to see in there. Okay, I think that 30 is still a high number that should be commended, because you get 11 players plus another 11 and then another 8. So, and again, the head coaches are included. I've realized that was not really part of the announcement.
Yes.
So I just want to reiterate on your TV station today that it is 30 players each, which is 480, and then 16 coaches, which is one head coach for each of the 16.
What happens to the technical teams of the club?
Unfortunately, the quota was just 500 for the FA. The FA pushed for more. In fact, they were hoping for over 2,000. Unfortunately, I think the YEA did not want to concentrate on only football, so they decided to give the FA 500, and that is how come they selected the Women's Premier League. It would have gone
to the men's
as well, So that is why we are extra grateful, because they could have, the ESCO could have decided, hey, why don't we give it to my men.
And
of
I know
the division.
you would have been all over.
I heard Madam Hajia Abibata, for example, was so excited, and rightfully
yeah,
so.
she was.
I think she also deserves a lot of commendation.
Sure, she's doing the work.
Exactly, being on the only female on the ESCO. I know how hard she's also been pushing for some of these benefits, so we can't leave her out when we are saying thank you.
Now, as a Premier League, Women's Premier League chairperson, there has been this rumor that I've been hearing, talks with some of the players,
Right.
that most of the players are not having any contract with their clubs. Now, you being the head, has your association tries to handle such issues? Because most of the girls are complaining that there is no contract between them and the clubs.
So that conversation is ongoing. Again, it is one of the first things that we discussed in our maiden meeting when the appointment for our committee came. So we are definitely having the conversation with the clubs. And you know, when you get sponsorship, it's easier to now put a lot of structure around some of these things. So because right now it's more of the bankrollers and what they can afford. So because I guess there are no structured payroll, it's also difficult for them to put maybe ideally there should be contracts for the girls because they cannot be playing,
but there is no contract.
I think there's something of that sort, but the right thing must be done, and that conversation is still ongoing.
Okay. We got on a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll dive into the financial aspect of the league. How much was pumped into the Women Football League, and how much was disbursed to every club, and how did they finance it? Now, a lot of players, and also the ladies that are playing the game themselves, we're getting rumors that some are already pregnant and some too have lost hope in playing for women football. We'll be right back after the commercial break.
Welcome to Meraki Practical Computer Training College.
At Meraki College, we offer a wide range of courses, which includes software engineering, printer, field service engineering, web development, graphic design, CCTV camera installation,
Hardware and networking, secretarial services,
and general printing. Our courses range from 1 to 8 months, and we have morning, afternoon, and evening classes. We also have special arrangements for workers and other people who might not have enough time for a one-on-one classes.
My name is Ibrahim Fenyaku. I work in a mining supply company as a manager. I attended Meraki and offered software engineering. The school is a very good school. They have experienced teachers and they are very practical.
Are you a graduate or are you still in school? Are you a worker or unemployed? I will recommend Meraki ICT College to you.
I was looking for an IT school to attend and I found Meraki College. And when I came here, the way they received me and the environment is conducive.
Irrespective of your academic background, you can still study at Meraki College. That is, no certificate required. We also have flexible payment plans for everyone and hostel facilities available for those who are not within the Accra area.
We are located at Medina behind Hannah School. You can call us on 0302 545108 or 0241 015153. Meraki, we say creativity, love and dedication. Welcome to Meraki Practical Computer Training College.
Yes, pen drive, memory card promotion, yeah.
In this life, we can't always choose what we do. But after a hard day's work, you can choose your mood. Choose
Some
happy.
wanna get buff like John Cena. We used to be cool when I used to come through. Now you wanna act tough like John Cena.
Happy Man Bitters. Choose happy. Here's a drink for happy people. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18 years. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We're still live. This is EBN Sports Chat. Today I'm here with Madam Hilary Boateng, the chairperson of Women League in Ghana. And a lot of revelations are coming out. Now, we're going straight into the discussion. But before that, let me just do this one here. Now, don't forget that the phone lines will be open very soon. In case you want to send your messages through WhatsApp, you can do that through 0273 615089 0273 509. That is the number. Then also, in case you want to join the conversation through calls, now it is getting heated and heated in the studio already. My phone is buzzing with a lot of messages. Now, for when we open the phone line, please take these numbers and try call in. It's 020-177-8830, 020-177-8830, and the WhatsApp is 0273-615089. Now, don't forget that we are proudly sponsored by Meraki IT College and also Fashion D Afrique. Now, Happy Man Bitters is on the market. Bitters is on the market. Make sure you get yours. Definitely good. Yes, their sanitizer is also, as you can see, they have the nose mask certified by the FDA board. So, yeah, I'll give you their number so that I can call them and do some business with them. I mean, just, you know. So, madam, like, when the league started, there were so many things some of us saw. We were like, okay, it's getting there gradually. But on the other hand, too, there were certain things we were seeing that were like, okay, it's like the girls are playing good football, but then it is not getting out there to the people that are supposed to consume it. Now, the question I want to ask is, women football, especially the league itself, what has been, or what will you call as a challenge before the COVID-19? Let's say that the 10 matches or so that were played. Yeah. What would you say has been some of the challenges you were facing as a committee?
Good question. I think that definitely challenges would come. We are talking about women's football here. One area where we had a few complaints here and there, not a lot, but a few, was refereeing. Yeah. We did have a meeting just after the first round with the FA General Secretary and the Director of Communications on some of these issues, and the plan is they are going to relay with the refereeing committee to have a look at some of the concerns that came up. I think at the point of registering the referees for the 2019-2020 season, there were some really experienced referees that were missing. Due to, I found out it was due to personal reasons, but they are currently available. So I'm hoping that for the upcoming season we could get some of these experienced referees back, who can also augment the current squad that we have. That was an area. Can you imagine now with Champions League coming? Obviously the qualification is going to be very heated, and so if there's a final head-to-head game and then due to a very silly refereeing mistake, we get one team feeling aggrieved just because of Champions League. These are some of the things we want to avoid. We don't even want it to happen. So that conversation will be had, and hopefully the referees for next season would do better than what we saw. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like I said, I watched a lot of the matches, and I think that it definitely can be better. And we are hoping that it will get better. So definitely refereeing was a bit of a challenge. I think that for the Premier League, Women's Premier League now, what we really need in terms of the clubs is funding. For me, that is the biggest challenge. And so we are out there soliciting for sponsorship with the FA. There's been a lot of good meetings that we've had with certain companies out there. Obviously, conversations are still ongoing, so you can't throw out there what the companies are. There are some that we saw pictures out. There are others that obviously we haven't even mentioned because the conversations are just about to start and all of that. We are hoping that sooner than later we would get a headline sponsor. I think that is where we need to get to now, where we know that the GWPL has a headline sponsor that is investing X amount of money. Okay. So you know that at the beginning of every season, the clubs are going to get X amount of funding to help, and that is where the issue of salaries can now come in to say, with this money you're getting, you now have a right. You cannot say you're not going to pay the players moving forward. So funding is a challenge currently, and we are hoping that sooner than later that challenge will be resolved through sponsorship. And we are not even just talking about headline, product sponsorships as well, because for women there are so many things that they need, sanitary pads and all of that, and we do have companies that do this in Ghana. And so it would be interesting if we can get some of these they would come on as partners, okay. And then a headline sponsor who would probably do the money part, and then the partners would do a bit of the products and maybe money as well. So we will keep our fingers crossed on that, but that's also a challenge.
But my second question is, during the pandemic period, the lockdown period, there has been issues that have been raised that why didn't the committee try to organize some courses for the coaches and women football administrators in terms of marketing? Did your committee have something like that?
No, not at all. So you're talking about the committee organizing? Yeah,
the GPL committee. Was there anything like from the FA in collaboration with the FA?
No, not during the pandemic. Okay. But before the start of the season, for example, we had a meeting with all the clubs where we had a seasoned referee come to do a presentation on the decisions they make during the matches, because obviously we were hoping that they would understand, just to avoid a lot of the complaints from referees. And so we started with that, but we are hoping that, like I said, there are certain conversations that are ongoing that cannot come out yet. Okay. But we are working on looking at trainings for some of the coaches. And if you remember, during the launch of the season, the president actually mentioned some packages for the coach. I think the top 3 coaches, and that will be taken for courses. So remember, all of those ones are also there. It's unfortunate that this season we couldn't end it well, but I'm sure from next season those prizes are still there for some of the coaches.
There has been a lockdown. The league has been cancelled finally, because most of us cried for it to be cancelled. Okay. Now it's cancelled. What are the strategies, or what are the next plan of action that the Women Premier League Committee are taking?
So again, we still want to continue to create awareness for the Women's League. I think that currently in Ghana, we are targeting women who are in top positions to go to visit and talk about the Women's Premier League and garner their support as well, to get them to also make a bit of noise on their social media platforms about the Women's League. I can't say more about that because, again, some of these are plans that we are still, planning. And once it comes out, I'm sure you be. But Ghana is such a strong football nation.
Yeah.
I've followed football personally since I was a baby. I started going to Kumasi Sports Stadium when I was like 12 years old, 12, 13, because I grew up in a fully Kotoko house. And so if you go to Legon in the early 2000s, for example, and you mentioned my name and football, everybody knew who I was. I was part of the Kotoko Union, and in Legon, I was at the stadium on May 9th. Why I'm alive today, I think, is just by the grace of God. So I'm just driving at the point that this is a country that has passionate football lovers. A lot of the passion has been directed at the men. I think that slowly we need to direct this passion towards the women as well.
Don't you think it's because of the content?
What is the content?
Don't you think because you're not giving them good quality, you're not giving the public quality play?
But between the Black Stars and the Black Queens, who took Ghana to the World Cup first?
It was the Black Queens.
Thank you.
But the league.
No.
The league.
You. That is my point. So my point is, even without money, we took Ghana to the World Cup first.
So what happened then?
But at least we did way before the Black Stars.
So there was no consistency in there.
But again, I'm just you. In fact, you've answered yourself. The Black Stars have a big entity like GMPC sponsoring them. Again, I'm coming back to sponsorship. Can you imagine if the Black Queens had a GMPC-like kind of company?
So who would you blame there?
This is a conversation that has gone on for decades. The Black Queens took us to the World Cup in the 90s. Right? So we've had a number of associations from then till now. So it's difficult for you to point at just one association.
It is. The reason why I'm asking you this is that if Black Queens has taken Ghana to the World Cup, what did they do right for us to land at the World Cup? Because there were quality of players. That was the time Adjoa Bayo was a top-notch. Patience Saki and all those people.
All those
now, the question is, what happened for them to decline to the extent that now for women football to attract sponsorship is difficult? Because the Black Stars have GMPC at their back. It probably might be because of their marketing lobbying skills.
No.
What happened?
I don't want to believe that it is because of the marketing lobbying skills. So who is lobbying for them and not lobbying for the women?
Probably the women committee are not pushing. The women in football are not pushing.
So, okay, in as much as my committee is just for the Premier, the national teams also have their committees.
Yes.
But my point is, even up until now,
the national team don't have a sponsor.
Yes, and it is not today. This conversation has been ongoing for years. Now we've seen traction, even to the point where the mothering body, which is FIFA, has made it so clear that they are interested in women's football. Even in their allocation of monies now, they specify what goes into women's football. If you look at the sort of World Cup that the women put up in France last year, we had our own legend, Essien, being an ambassador. My point is, if there wasn't good money in there, I don't think Essien would have been there.
True.
So definitely women's football is heading in the right direction. And that is why I personally want us to look at the positives. What has happened in the past. But moving forward, there's a lot of content now where we can push the agenda of women's football to be able to get good sponsorship for them. Right now, there's Champions League coming. Can you imagine if you have a company that is sponsoring, or you're the headline sponsor for the Premier League at the point where one of the clubs is going on the continent of Africa, your name goes out there. So it's a win-win situation. There's FIFA pumping money into the women's game now. You know, there's 2023 Australia coming up in terms of the World Cup. So many things to look up to. And it's not just the black queens. There's the black princesses, there's the black maidens, there's even the under 15, you know, and then obviously the grassroots. Even in schools now, you see young girls who are very passionate. You look at England, you look at Italy, you look at obviously the USA and Sweden. So many teams have countries with good leagues. For me, I'm very interested in the English women's
football,
because you know what, a lot of their male teams have female versions.
Yeah.
We don't have that here. Why? Because the male clubs, not all of them have clubs for the. Can you imagine if Hearts had Hearts ladies? If Olympics had Olympics ladies? It in itself, it already helps build the women's, which is why a team like the US gets to the world stage, and they are always in the top two.
Okay.
A team like
before
I
come to you, I think we have a caller on the line. Yeah. Oh, okay, we don't have a caller on the line there. So now the question I'm asking is, the Champions League has come. Is there good news for Ghana?
It's good news for Africa.
Is there good news for Africa?
Yeah.
Let's say. Okay, I'm trying to focus
on us. That's fine.
Yeah. What is the measures that the Ghana Women Premier League Board are trying to put in place in terms of this good news that has come?
To prepare
the teams and all that. And what will be the qualification criteria? Because I learned there is a women FA something cup or something.
FA Cup. We have that.
Now, because the male side who has the one who wins the FA Cup qualifies for Confederation
and then the Premier goes to the Champions League.
So what is the women people also doing about? But before you come to that, please, if you want to call us, you can get us on 020-177-8830. 0201-778830. The lines are open. You can start calling. I have a lot of messages here, but I'll be reading them to you very soon. Okay, so
for the Champions League, now the details are scanty.
Yeah.
I think that on Tuesday or Wednesday, we had the president of CAF announcing that the launch would happen in 2021. But I think the details will follow after. So as I sit here, we really do not know what the structure of the maiden tournament or even the subsequent ones will be. I don't know if it's going to be structured like the men, where you play home and away until you get to the knockout stages and all of that. If that is how it's going to be, then you know what that means. It means a lot of money, because then you're going to be traveling a lot across Africa. However, because it's the maiden one and it's the Women's Premier League, they know maybe there's not a lot of money in there yet. They probably may decide to look at the zonal. This is a suggestion. They can probably look at doing zones where they're looking at maybe the West African teams playing their mini zone, the East Africa teams, Southern, and then the Northern, and then maybe take the winners to play the semi-finals, and then or choose one country, take the clubs there, play a mini tournament, and then give the winner. Again, these are suggestions. We wait to see what CAF. So we don't even as of today know whether it's going to be one team from each country or two. They may decide, depending on the number of women's leagues across Africa, decide that maybe the first two. We don't know yet. So we can't really say as a committee that we know how it's going to go. But for us as a committee, we are waiting for the FA to announce when the season will kickstart, and then we would sit down as a committee and decide on the way forward.
Okay, so is Mother Ghana really ready for this Champions League?
In terms of football, in terms of quality players, I think so. In terms of funding, we would have to wait for CAF, in the sense that I want to understand if they are going to pump some money into it for the clubs, at least that qualify, to say this is what we're going to give to each club to play in the tournament. I expect that. But however, let's just wait to see what it is. But in terms of quality football, I think that we have enough good clubs
to match up the likes of people from Nigeria.
Again, we know Nigeria, when it comes to women's football on the continent, we know Nigeria tops it currently. However, our matches against Nigeria have always been very close matches. Again, so like I'm saying, Ghana is still in the top 5 in my opinion, on Africa when it comes to women's football. You mentioned Nigeria, you mentioned South Africa, you mentioned Cameroon, you mentioned Ghana. Okay, so I still believe that in terms of football quality players, we can actually play on the the African stage and do well.
Okay. Please, we have a caller on the line. Hello, your name and where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Sweetheart, your name and where you calling from?
I'm Hawa. I'm calling from Ablekuma.
Okay, Hawa, let's hear you out.
Okay, the lady on your set.
Yeah.
I'm actually not a football lover, but because of the submission she's giving, she's made me interested in football. And I think I have to start paying attention to football. I really like her.
Oh, okay.
Really, really like her submission. Yes.
Okay, so you want
tell her to come and watch a match when we start.
Okay, she said I should tell you to come and watch a match when the league starts so that she can meet you and help you.
Introduce herself.
And introduce yourself so that you can join the women football campaign thing. Are you willing to go watch some of the matches if football should start?
She didn't hear you.
Okay, you didn't hear me. You didn't hear that. Okay. All right. So now the question I'm asking is this one. Okay, there's a question here for you. This one says, what happened to the donation K Sports did because my team haven't received anything yet?
Okay. So the items are in the FA. Apparently, there's someone in charge of logistics for the southern zone because they are in most of the clubs are in Greater Accra. I think they've picked them up, but for the northern zone, they would have to transport them. So I'll need to follow up on that. Personally, I thought they had sent all of that. So please let me know which club that is, and I'll ensure that they get it as soon as possible.
Okay. Okay. Now this one is asking a question that. Why should my sister come and play for women football when she still don't have a contract with the club? Is it a joke or what?
Like I said, this contractual issue, I think that we need to tackle it well. Again, we as far as I'm concerned, the clubs are supposed to give the girls contracts, and the girls must even insist on contracts before they decide to play for the clubs. So the conversation must not be one-sided in the sense that what are the clubs doing. I think the players must also insist on getting these things before they secure any deal with some of these clubs, because I think that will also help the club owners sit up and do the right thing. We as a committee, like I said, we are looking into some of these things. Ideally, every club should give a contract to the players. Yeah.
Now, this question also comes. She said, okay, how certain are we that in September, where the next season is set to start, there will be vaccine for COVID-19?
That's a very good question. I think that in terms of vaccine, I'm not sure if the FA has come out with to say that September is when the league is starting. I don't know where the person got that information from, but I believe that by the time the FA decides that this is when the league is going to start, we would have the right measures in place, because you can't open the stadia for supporters to go in there when there isn't a cure, especially now when the numbers are still going up.
This one's also saying that please ask her if women football has a strong administration. Richmond from Dan Soman.
I think that's a good question as well. Definitely, the administration of women's football comes out of the FA, right? So in the FA, you have the competitions department that handles all the competitions, not only for women but for the men as well. And then we have the committees that oversee the various leagues. So like my committee oversees the Premier League, and so at every given league season, there are enough people that overlook. And then obviously the clubs also have their management teams, the owners, and all of that. So definitely, and there are people who have been in women's football for a really long time. I think that as the game is also growing, we are beginning to realize that certain administrators are putting in the right structures now to make it more attractive.
So when do the FA, with your association, intend to disburse the funds?
Again, we are waiting for YEA. I think yesterday when I spoke to a member of the FA, they did mention that YEA had informed them that they would send the modalities of the payments, because I actually had a radio station ask how the payment would be done, and I didn't have that information yet. So once we get the modalities from YEA, we would know what time of the month the payments will go through, and whether it will be done through bank account, through Momo, whatever it is, we would need to know and then be able to answer some of these questions. For now, we don't have that information yet.
Does the association have every data of every player?
Yes.
And during the pandemic, has there been checkups on the players?
I cannot say. I think that for that question, maybe you should ask committees, the various committees, and then obviously the engagements they've had with the clubs directly. For the FA in itself, you don't expect that they would go out there, but that's why there are committees for every division and every league. And so from where I sit, we have engagements. There's a platform with the clubs, and then in terms of picking up phones to talk to the managers, the coaches, I do that. I know that other members of my committee, my vice engages them as well quite a lot, and the other members as well. So definitely we have that engagement with the clubs on our level, but I can't speak for the other leagues.
Oh, okay. Now, there has been allegations of pregnancy during the COVID-19 with some of the girls. How true is that?
It's not true.
And also there has been rumors in the air that some coaches are sleeping with the girls.
Coaches in the Premier League? I haven't heard anything. That's why I'm asking. Coaches in the Women's Premier League, or what have you heard?
What I heard was something concerning, it was women football, so I don't think it would be men coach from the men's side coming to, no.
No, I can't confirm that. I haven't heard anything of that sort.
Okay. Ghana women football, has it come to stay?
Definitely. In fact, I think that now with where it, in fact, I think the future of Ghana, of women's football, is really bright. Ghana women's football is definitely also going somewhere.
Okay. This one says, let me read this message. This one says, says, good toast to Mrs. Hillary. Keep doing the good work. Okay. Gay, proud. Okay. Very explicit. Oh, so, okay. I understand now. What would be your words to Ghanaians who don't... Now, okay, before we go to that, money has been a problem in women's football.
Main money.
Main problem. Okay. Now, per what I saw at the Magdan, how do you intend to generate revenue if there are no gate proceedings being charged?
So, I don't know if I said that on air or it was during when we went on the break, but we were talking about the fact that the Magdan Park was always full. Every weekend, which was very impressive. I think that the league, the women's league, at least for the southern zone, due to the game center in Magdan, has gotten to that stage where even if the clubs decide to put a small amount on it, I don't think it would deter the supporters from still coming to watch, because I think now it has moved from money to loving what they watch. And so I personally think it's long overdue for some of the clubs. I know some matches within the women's game charge, but it's as little as 5 cedis. For some of the matches. And
Halifax.
No, the Halifax match, there was no gate. I'm talking about Northern Zone.
The Northern Zone.
The Northern Clash, Pelpia versus Northern Ladies. I know they charge 5 cedis.
But Halifax too can charge gate fee based on
what exactly. So I think these are some of the conversations we'll be having prior to next season, and then we probably will come to a consensus, because in as much as we probably do not have the numbers like the men, it will still at least give the club something if they decide to start charging gate fee. I think that in this era of technology as well, another area where conversations are also ongoing is to look at things like apps where we can start streaming some of these matches on these apps and then charge some money there for the clubs. And so that is also a conversation that we are having. Hopefully some of these ideas will end up generating some funds for the clubs to be able to also pay some of these girls.
What will be your final words to Ghanaians in terms of women football?
I think that people should begin to concentrate on women's football. I'm not saying do not concentrate on your men. The men, we all watch the men as well. But once people begin to watch women's football, I have friends who knew nothing about it, and now they are waiting for when next season will start because they came to watch just one match. So I think now is the time for people to also start concentrating on the women's game. There are a lot of quality players in there. You'll be amazed. The FA puts out some of these short videos of goals that they scored in the first round, and it's beautiful. I think I would appeal to Ghanaians to concentrate on the women's game, because that is really where interest is going to move in the next few years. I see women's football getting bigger and better.
She sees women's football getting bigger and bigger and bigger and better and better and better. Probably they might overtake the men league in terms of fan base and in terms of popularity.
It's possible.
We are waiting to see how that will go. But then it's been fun coming your way again on EBN Sports Channel. Remember, every Friday from 7:30 to 8:30 we talk sports and we talk football, we talk anything sports, we go deep into it. Today we did women football, it could be something else next week. My name is Christian Mensah. Remember, this program was proudly brought to you by Meraki IT College, one of the best IT schools in the country. Yes, in case you want to do some business with them, roll into Meraki IT. Some of the courses they offer is software engineering, printing, field service engineering, web development and design, CCTV, camera installations, and hardware and networking, secretarial service, general printing. You can contact them on 030-254-5108 or 0241-015153. Now also, Fashion d'Afrique. Yes, I always say this, that people will address you by the way you dress anywhere you go. So take a look at me, how I'm looking today. I'm looking good. I mean, can't get to see your Fashion d'Afrique. For all your classy long and short sleeve kaftan are the perfect complement for any occasion. Fashion d'Afrique is here to get you smart and look stylish. Fashion d'Afrique is located at Nungwa Boade, New Oda Ayuku Street, next to the Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall, Nungwa Boade Road, opposite the Rosenberg Academy. You can contact them and also follow them on various social media handles and do business with them. Yes, also Happy Man Beaters is in the system. Don't forget, it's one of the best authentic drinks ever to grace the market of Ghana. I mean, you're a man. To be a happy man, all you need to do is drink Happy Man Beaters. They have the ginger liquor and they have the Happy Man Beater system. Now also, they have the Happy Man nose mask and the Happy Man sanitizer. We are not in normal times. Protect yourself, protect your life, and let's help all stop the spread of the virus. Yes, my name is Christian Mensah, coming to you live from our studio. Same time next week from 7:30 to 8:30. We say bye-bye.